So, dear students, so today is a special moment for me as a teacher because today I have with me Dr. Kavyanjali, who is the proud achiever of All India Rank 1 in both AIMS as well as common AIMS merit list as well as common merit list in the recently conducted INISS Endocrinology October 2024 session. So great achievement, Dr. Kavyanjali. You should be proud.
Thank you, sir.
So I think the aspirants and all the viewers would also be eagerly waiting to hear from the person herself on how your preparation went, what are the strategies that you have adopted to crack the exam and all. So before going on to all of that, can you give a brief introduction of yourself, the place of residence, your alumni, and everything?
I'm Dr. Kavyanjali. I did my MBBS from Lady Hardinge Medical College, New Delhi, and did my MD Medicine from AIMS, New Delhi. And basically, I belongs to Hisar, Haryana. And my MD Medicine ended like the tenure ended in August 2024 this year only. And I gave this exam like this was my first attempt like in the exam because the last INI we were not eligible for the exam for the last INI seat SS.
So I think this time around, at least 5 out of the top 10 rankers are giving their exam for the first time, and they have just passed out 2 to 3 months ago. So I think
Yes.
freshers are have really made merry this time around. So now moving on to the preparation strategies that you have adopted. When did you divert your entire focus on endocrinology? Because you have to be wary of your final exams, which were also happening in 2024. So at what point of time? Is it only after completing your final examinations or alongside your theory and practical reading you were continuing with the endocrinology approach?
So basically, I started preparing when I was in fifth semester. So in fifth semester, after thesis submission and all, I saw your videos, and I made notes out of all the topics. So I finished my notes in around making notes around 15 to 20 days. I finished all the videos, made notes out of them in 15 to 20 days. Then when in sixth semester, it was very hectic, so I couldn't revise it, and also we were not eligible for that for the April INISS. So at that time, I didn't revise like endocrinology as per the exam perspective. So after finishing with my theory and practical, I revised these notes 2 to 3 times. Like around 3 times I revised the notes, and simultaneously I did the MCQs daily, like around 50 to 100 MCQs daily I did. And around 15 to 20 days before the exam, I gave some grand tests which were available on the app. So this was my main strategy. So main focus was I made the notes beforehand, and like 2 to 3 months before the exam, I only revised those notes. Rather than jumping onto different sources, I just stuck onto those notes.
So I think this message has been spread out very clearly by almost all the toppers this time around. So whichever source you may choose, I think it's important to stick on to that rather than just as Dr.
Yes.
Kavyanjali has very rightly pointed out, you know, relying on multiple sources. Of course, one, there is a limited amount of time that is available at your disposal, and it somewhat create a bit of confusion regarding there could be some controversy here and
Yes.
there, and you would end up like more bamboozled than you were previously were. So that is one downside of relying on multiple sources. And Dr. Kavyanjali, I want to specifically ask you regarding whether you have gone through the Williams endocrinology, where you have gone it from cover to cover, or you have just screened through the important tables and flowcharts. What was your approach in reading the standard textbook?
So main was the important tables and the flow charts. And basically in your videos, you would the tables and flow charts which were shown like by you in your videos only were from the Williams only. So I took a printout of those tables, and I stick them in my notes only. Also, while doing MCQs, most of the MCQs are from Williams, like from the tables and flowcharts they have asked. So if I haven't read those videos and flowcharts beforehand, I would again take printout of those, and I would stick them in my notes only rather than like just going to the book again and again, because it's very difficult in the exam time to open that book and then read rather than reading from the notes only. So I didn't read it from like line to line, every paragraph and line I didn't read, but mainly it was from the videos and flowchart. And sometimes whenever like I was getting confused in any topic, like suppose there is a discrepancy in the notes which I have made and in the MCQ, like which in the MCQ explanation, that time I would go to that specific topic in Williams. Otherwise, full book I haven't read, mainly in flow charts and tables and images, important images. Those I have seen.
So great. So in a person who is having, say, limited amount of time for their preparation, like 2 to 3 months only at their disposal, so what would your advice be to such a student who have just finished their final exams, have 2 to 3 months before appearing for INI? Do you advise them to go through the Williams important tables first, or first videos and then go retrospectively?
First, see the videos and make notes like in your own handwriting. That would be like first thing you have to do. And like in 15-20 days, it's like easily you can finish all the videos and make notes out of that. Like even if you can watch it in 1.5 times the speed, yeah, you can increase the speed. So you can finish the videos in 15-20 days and make notes out of them. And then you revise those notes and simultaneously do the MCQs, because like by doing the MCQs, your topics will be revised also. And if there any confusion, then you can go to Williams tables and all. Otherwise, just starting with the tables and flowcharts and Williams and then moving on to videos like won't help much. It's according to me.
So now I would like to ask a very, say, tricky question, I would say, because the students would be very apprehensive on what source materials should they reference from. And there is no better person to answer this question than the rank one herself. So I would like to ask you, Dr. Kavyanjali, so do you feel that, so the whatever material that our platform is providing, the long videos, the QRPs, the question bank, do you feel as a standalone material it would be sufficient enough to crack the exam? Like the endocrinology part, the 55 questions, how much do you feel that the students may have to read extra to get, because there is little, I would say, no margin for error and silly mistakes at all. Each question going wrong can bring down your ranks by at least 5 to 10. So that's very important. So even though many of the students say that the videos are okay, it's adequate for preparation, so coming from the mouth of rank one, do you feel that it has helped you in achieving this rank, and whether it could serve as a standalone preparation material for INI endocrinology?
So basically, I made my main source of preparation was my notes only, which I prepared from the videos only. MCQs I only did in the last 2 months. Prior to that, I didn't touch upon that MCQs part. And also, like I did GTs, some 3-4 grand tests which were available like 15 to 20 days before the final exam. So my main source of preparation was notes only. I revised the notes 2 to 3 times. So even if like if there is a question which is not directly taught in the notes, there might be some like you have taught something in indirect way, तो वो solve like हो जाता है. तो मतलब my main source of preparation was notes only. Like if you read them 3 to 4 times, like by reading them once, it won't help, because you won't retain like most of the things, you will forget after 4 to 5 days. You have to read it 3 to 4 times, then it would help definitely.
So I think you are implying that you have to prepare a source material that should be the notes from the long
Yes,
videos and make it
yes,
as the base reference point. Then
yes.
supplement the information, whatever questions you read and the additional points you get, you have to add on to the base
Yes, sir.
notes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you will have to revise it 2 to 3 times, right? That is
Yes, sir.
also one message, very, very important message, because it's not very difficult to teach everything. Like if I spend more hours, I could almost cover all the topics. The point is to make it crisp and to retain only the most important information, because
Yes,
otherwise if it becomes too voluminous, the students may also feel diffident.
yes,
Okay,
sir.
so the revision, the constant revision and updation is extremely important, as Dr. Kavyanjali has mentioned, and very, very important. Whatever things you have just learned, you should try to like boost it with solving MCQs. Dr. Kavyanjali was in a habit of like solving at least 50 to 75 MCQs a day. It's a very good number. So once you constantly revise it on a day-to-day manner, whatever concepts you have learned, I think it would get consolidated. And even if the question is slightly tricky or deviative, even then you would be able to crack the question by at least eliminating the other options. Right, Dr. Kavyanjali?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, did you make use of the QRP session or you just revise the notes alone?
So QRP, I was not able to like, matlab, I didn't get time in the end. So mainly I revised the, like in last 2 months, I revised notes 3 times. Like 3 times I revised, and I did MCQs in grand test. QRP, I was not able to get time
Okay, it's okay.
in the last.
Fine. Then, what about you told me that you have given all the three grant tests that we have uploaded. So, how was your performance there in the grant test?
So it was like not much good because in grand test, like some very like questions were asked which were in very much depth, like exact lines from Williams. So I was not able to perform well in the grand tests. Matlab, it
Okay,
was
fine.
like average performance in grand tests.
Okay, okay. So, have you gone through the previous year's question papers as well, the April session, the previous November session, and as well? What is your take on the changing difficulty level and the pattern of the examinations? I hope you have gone through the
Uh,
previous papers as
yes,
well.
sir. So like I did all the previous year's questions, like which I got from my seniors, like all the 3 4 years back, and also were available mostly from the I got from the sim from my seniors, like all of the previous year's questions. So most of few questions were there in the exam which were exact repeat from the previous year questions, like 6 to 7 questions were there which were exact, like repetition, and the difficulty level was more or less same as the like which I found like previous. It was only basic they were asking, not much depth. And either like if you have the concepts, you can mark the answer. It's not you have to just cram anything and then you will be able to answer. Even by ruling out, you will be able to answer the questions. Only
Yeah.
one two the few questions were there in which you will be confused between two options, because like from one perspective one option will be correct, from others other will be correct, but most of the questions were like easy and they were like conceptual, you will be able to answer them.
So, Kavyanjali, you have secured rank one in both the MCQ as well as you topped the interview list as well. So you must have done really well in the say departmental assessment test as well. So was were there any specific preparation strategies that you have followed for the departmental assessment, or just the revision of notes and the concepts that you have already learned? You just revise that.
So in interview also I asked my seniors like what the faculty usually asks. So I was told ki thesis has been asked like from every candidate, like the sample size calculation and all. This they have been asked, like, and then immunoassays, enzyme like competitive essay, sandwich essay. These things are also asked. Like some new faculty, they are fond of asking these things. Then I was told some specific topics like which are favorite of each faculty, so I just revised those. Not the entire thing I was not able to revise in that short span of time, like 7 to 8 days were there. So mainly I revised the some important things like volatile things, like immunoassays they were mainly fond of. And I had some like, I think my senior gave me some like pointers ki these are the things which are usually faculty fond of asking, so I revised those points only. So that was
Okay.
it.
So, can you just give how did your interview went? Like, were they from these areas as well, or they did ask any difficult questions, newer advances like that?
So I was asked only two questions in interview. One was about my thesis and one was about difference between competitive and enzyme immunoassays.
Okay. So I think more or less less number of questions were asked this time,
Yes,
focusing
sir.
on laboratory endocrinology this time
Yes, sir.
around. So, anyhow, Dr. Kavyanjali, you have gotten an astounding achievement. The very first attempt itself, you have secured rank one in both AML and CML. That is no mean feat. And on behalf of myself and the entire doctoratorials team, I extend our hearty congratulations to you once more. So, keep up this good work in the future also, and all the very best for your personal and professional endeavors in the future. So any specific message that you want to give out to all the listeners out there?
But just keep preparing. Like nothing is impossible. Nothing much.
Absolutely, absolutely, you got it right. Thank you, Kavyanjali, for your time.
Thank you, sir.